Strategist Elena Vance pressed her cold, copper dial down into the console as 23,000 alien warships dropped out of hyperspace. The sky above Earth turned black with iron hulls. Sovereign Kaler had brought the entire Eternal Dominion armada to demand total surrender. Classified records don't track how many ships entered Sol. They track how many were forgotten when the doors shut. For 200 years, humanity let the galaxy believe Earth was a helpless rim world. Admiral Nathan Reyes stood beside Vance on the bridge of the flagship Resolute. He did not raise shields. He did not call the fleet to battle stations. Instead, he unclasped a heavy star metal cylinder from his belt and set it into the pedestal's manual drive slot. The brass chronometer in his left hand clicked backward by 2 seconds. If you seek the truths hidden within classified galactic archives, join our tactical record by subscribing. Across all open frequencies, Sovereign Kaler's voice cut through the static like grinding stones. The 9-foot alien overlord did not ask for terms. He demanded immediate planetary submission within 3 hours. On his Grand Throne ship, automated sensors logged Earth's orbital defenses as primitive fission reactors. The readings showed weak hulls, low power grids, and old copper wiring. Sensor screens in the Imperial fleet registered the Terran ships as simple targets. Kaler raised his armored hand and gave the order to fire. 20 massive invasion dreadnoughts charged their primary annihilation cannons. White-hot beam fire lanced across the void, striking the Resolute directly on its main bow. The blast should have turned the human flagship into drifting ash. Instead, the white energy touched the ship's dark hull plates and vanished. No alarms sounded on the Resolute. The temperature on the bridge did not rise by a single degree. Vance watched her primary power gauges. The incoming fire did not break through. It flowed straight into subterranean storage vaults deep beneath the Himalayan mountains. Kaler leaned forward on his golden throne. His 4 compound eyes narrowed as his battle staff reported 0 heat damage on the human hull. "They are absorbing the load," Marshal Kale shouted from the Imperial flagship. "Order all wings to fire full salvos. Overwhelm their batteries." Kaler waved his arm. 23,000 warships opened their missile bays. Millions of heavy plasma bolts and kinetic torpedoes tore through the void toward the inner planets. Admiral Reyes turned the star metal cylinder, 1/4 turn to the right. Deep beneath the lunar trench, ancient ruin runics flared with bright blue light. The Aegis network woke up across the entire solar system. The space in front of the Imperial fleet twisted like clear water. Millions of moving plasma bolts suddenly stopped in mid-flight. Then, without losing speed, every single projectile flipped its direction. The Imperial missile barrage turned right back toward the ships that fired it. Primary cruisers exploded across the front line. Fireballs erupted in silent chains across 3 orbital sectors. 2,000 Imperial support vessels broke apart as their own weapons tore through their thin rear shields. Panic spread across the Dominion communication channels. Systems crashed as defensive matrices tried to calculate how their own weapons had target locks on their own hulls. "Jump us out," Kaler roared, stepping down from his throne pedestal. "Pull the fleet back to the deep space rally point now." Marshal Kale slammed his hands onto the main drive controls. Hyperdrive coils across 20,000 ships hummed to life, but space around them did not open. The warp vectors bent back into themselves, trapping every engine signal in a closed loop. A quiet tactical officer on the Resolute looked up from his screen. "Their drives are locked, Admiral. They are running in circles inside our grid." "Every ship they scanned for 200 years was an automated drone," Vance said, her fingers moving across her copper dial. "They were tracking old fission signatures we built to fool their scout probes." Reyes nodded once. He reached down and adjusted the Aegis key on the main panel. Deep inside the core relays near Jupiter, massive energy collectors sent power into the primary spatial displacement grid. The Atlas cannon ignited without a sound. A silver ripple expanded outward from the bow of the Resolute. It did not burn. It did not smash through metal. Space did not tear. It folded like clean paper. 5,000 Imperial Vanguard battleships hung suspended in brilliant white light for half a second. Then they slipped completely out of linear reality. No explosions followed. No scrap metal drifted into the orbital paths. Where an invincible armada had stood moments before, only absolute silence remained. 5,000 heavy warships had vanished from the universe entirely. Inside the Dominion throne room, emergency sirens cut off as target icons disappeared from every screen. Kaler dropped his gold command staff onto the deck plate. Before the remaining alien captains could react, the void around them shifted again. 12 massive structures rose from the dark shadows of Saturn's ice rings. Each guardian fortress stretched 300 kilometers from tip to tip. They formed a giant circle around the remaining Imperial ships, locking the sector in heavy shadow. Kaler stared at the giant fortresses on his main display. His voice shook as he opened a direct channel to the human flagship. "What weapon is this? Where did you send my fleet?" Admiral Nathan Reyes looked into the communication viewer. He picked up his unlit brass chronometer and laid it softly onto the console felt. "We didn't build an armada to conquer your empire, sovereign," Reyes said clearly. "We built a vault to keep your kind out." Reyes turned the star metal cylinder into its final locked position. The amber glow along its runic sides cooled into a hard, permanent silver. The subspace cage snapped shut. 20,000 Imperial warships frozen in space, their engines dead, their weapons cold, held forever inside the solar grid. No light, no sound, no way back out. 12 black fortresses floated silent against Saturn's golden rings, holding a trapped empire in their long shadow.